Hello everyone. To help prepare for the upcoming semester and Stats 411, I put together a tutorial on how to download SAS on your personal computer. So this tutorial was obviously recorded on a Windows machine. The process should be pretty similar for both Mac OS and Linux machines, but if you run into any issues along the way, feel free to reach out. I can help troubleshoot and we can get that resolved as well. An additional note is that you don't have to use VirtualBox exclusively. It's just my preferred choice that I'm going to be going with this tutorial. So you can find this web page by Googling VirtualBox download. It has the list of different OSs. So I went ahead and clicked the Microsoft because obviously I'm using a Windows machine. So when it's installed, you can go ahead and click into it. And it's going to open a installer wizard. A lot of these, as long as you're okay with the default options, you can go ahead and click next. There is a screen that looks a little bit scary, warning of network interference. That's just saying that it's going to cease your internet connection for just a second on your machine as it installs. So once it's finished, it's going to open up, if you had that option selected. If not, you can go ahead and open up the Oracle VirtualBox. So this is what the application actually looks like. It's great if you want to try out a Linux distribution, but today we're going to be using it to install SAS. So with VirtualBox downloaded, we're actually done with the first step of installing SAS. So if you Google SAS University Edition download, you'll find yourself on this page. It has the list of different operating systems and system requirements if you think that your computer isn't up to par. But if we scroll down, we can see that this get virtualization software, we actually completed that first step, and our next step is to set up the folder structure so that SAS can interface with our documents. So first we have to create a folder in a location that we will remember. So I'm going to create a folder on my desktop called SAS University Edition. And then I'm going to head back to the SAS webpage, and then it needs a subfolder called My Folder. So I'm just going to copy that. And then I'm going to head back to my desktop, back into that folder. I'm going to right click and create a new folder, and then this one's going to be called My Folders. So we can head on back to the SAS webpage because we're just about ready for the download. And if we scroll down here, so we're already at step 2. If we scroll down a little bit more, it's going to say that we need an account in order to download it first. So this is going to be through your URI email, not your personal account, in order to be able to download this. So if we click the download link, it'll direct us to the SAS website. So if you're new to SAS, obviously you're going to have to create a profile, so I'll click into that just to show you. So you're going to have to fill in these different fields and make sure that you are associated with the University of Rhode Island and agree to the terms and conditions. Since I already have an account, I'm going to navigate back to the login section, enter my URI email, and then sign in. It's going to bring us to the terms and conditions page, so we're just going to have to read through all this and then accept the terms and conditions. And once we accept the terms and conditions, it's just going to be a screen. It's going to look like you purchased something, but as you can see, $0. So this is actually the download link up here, which once you click it, it'll start the download. It's a rather lengthy install time. The file's rather large. I think it's something like 2 gigabytes. So as you can see it down there. And then once that's finished installing, we can actually configure it with our virtual machine. So now that we're back and the install is finally done, we can finally proceed to the next step, which is configuring the VirtualBox and the SAS application. So the next step is to import the new SAS download into Oracle. So if we navigate back to Oracle, we click that import button, and then we navigate to the download section, which our SAS downloads resides. So we confirm that, and then we can finally import the program. So once this is all set, you're going to hit import, and then it's going to start the importing process. It could take a little bit depending on your computer. I ended up skipping ahead here, and as we wait for it to install, and then if it's successful, you'll see it here on the left, and then you'll see the different details of the program here on that right panel. So with that, the last step is only to set up the interface between SAS and that folder that we had created back in step 2. So we're going to head into settings and then shared folders, and then we're going to create a new folder up here in the top right. Once we click that, it's going to ask for a folder path. You're going to select Other under Folder Path, and then you're going to head to that folder that you had first created, that SAS University Edition, and then select that My Folders app, that My Folders folder. Bit of a tongue twister there. So it also assures that you do not click the Read Only button, so you're going to leave that unchecked, and then you're going to select the auto mount feature as well. And then this last field, you can leave that blank and then confirm with OK, and then you can exit out of the settings. And that is actually the last bit of installation for SAS, and it should be ready for use. So to finally use SAS, so if we scroll down here, you can see you just have to start it on the virtual machine, and then there's this URL that you see here, which connects your web browser to the internal server of sorts that the virtual machine is creating. So if we go ahead and click Start, it's going to open the virtual machine, and you'll see a blank command line, and all of a sudden it'll flash back to the SAS loading panel. So it might take a little bit to load SAS here. And then once it's finished loading, you'll see this black screen, and again you'll see that URL there in the middle that says localhost. So if you have that copied, you can head to your web browser. So heading back to our favorite browser, since we're done with this tab, we can actually head to the SAS program through here. So we're just going to enter that into the URL bar, and it's going to welcome us to the SAS Studio. So go ahead and click Start SAS Studio. All right, and then once that's done, we're going to hit a couple of loading screens here. We're going to have to sign in and then load the SAS Studio. But once this is actually finished loading, this is SAS, and it's been successfully installed. From now on, whenever you go to use SAS, you're going to have to go to your web page and use that localhost URL, as well as start the virtual machine beforehand. But other than that, SAS is successfully installed, and yeah, thank you very much for watching.